For nearly 4 years leading up to 2015, the landscapes alongside Highway 90 between Eagle Pass and San Antonio were what I looked out upon very frequently. Why do this? Why to go through such lengths and sacrifice so much time and effort just on a conviction, just to carry out an idea. As I looked out to these landscapes, to these crops and fields, and as the seasons changed, as time went by, I asked myself the same questions. My other band members, we all asked ourselves the same questions, whether we were going to be able to stick this through and complete our goals, despite our personal struggles and everything else that we had going on. And it's safe to say that upon you first viewing this, that we did, but we didn't really start out that way with that certainty. So the first few years was a lot of writing and collaborating and experimenting. As you've probably learned before, we each have very distinct and different styles. We each know who we are as writers, as artists, as musicians individually, but once we came together, it becomes this different sound and this completely different identity altogether.
Each member of the Velvet Hues has had some sort of musical project in the past that didn't really work out. Certain circumstances, people just being discouraged to not pursue any kind of career in music, led to the beginning of this path and completing this EP, which is why it's really significant to us. Our sound encompasses a lot of different genres, a lot of different styles that we've brought in, and the EP really reflects that. I mean, I like a lot of hard rock, I love a lot of blues, I played a lot of Latin rock music from some 80s and 90s. Steven as well has a hard rock sort of background, also a Tejano background. Steven did work on a Latin album project prior to the Velvet Hues. Rita has a mariachi background since she was very young. Her background also ranges from the old classical Spanish music to modern pop music, a lot of jazz. Nicholas Ochoa likes rock bands like The Police. He was a very good jazz player as well. So each of us have brought in sort of a wide range of styles into this musical project, as you'll hear, and it will just continue to evolve. Songs that we have outside of the EP kind of bring something fresh for everyone as well.
So how we formed was in 2010. I was working with a guy named Juan Carlos Diaz, who's a friend of mine. I was introduced to him through Alex Gonzalez, and we were putting together some Spanish rock songs. I got to meet him through Alex and found out that he was an awesome lyricist, and we started working together with music and composing, and did a Spanish rock band called Filio, which later was called Cofa. So during the Filio and Cofa project, we actually had Rita come in through Alex's reference to do some backup vocals. I instantly heard her voice and knew that there was a lot of potential there and was unique. We didn't really think of anything then, we were getting the Spanish rock thing done, but I did have it in my mind and finally got to speak with Rita at one point and said, hey, what are your musical influences? What do you like to do? We started talking about rock, blues, jazz, those kind of things. And so we discussed, let's try putting something together. Aside from Lithium Wave Music Media, which was me, Juan Carlos, and Alex Gonzalez, was, Rita and I starting to figure out what our sound was and what we could do. Later that year, Matt was actually coming up from Eagle Pass to San Antonio, and she had been talking about Matt, during that time as well, how he played guitar and how some of the similar musical influences that him and I shared. So Matt came up to San Antonio, was up here, and him and I started meeting up just to jam, start going over ideas. One of the key things we needed at that point was a drummer, and coincidentally enough, Matt actually ran into a buddy of his from high school, and that was Paul Falan. At that point, Paul was, looking to get back into playing drums, and man, we had some awesome jam sessions. Started really cranking out ideas and working on material as a whole with drums, guitar, bass, vocals. Eventually, Paul wanted to move on from music and focus on other things, and I, at that point, recommended Nick. Nick came in. Rita's been our primary lyricist, content editor, web editor. I have a role of utilizing my web design and graphic design skills, and then Matt is our social media specialist as well. So at this point, we all try to play a key role in making this band move forward.
What's next for the Velvet Hues? You've heard the blues stuff individually. You've heard each individual song, but forget about everything that you heard. What's new for the Velvet Hues is we're gonna take what we know, we're gonna mix in some Latin, we're gonna get away from the conventional 12 bar, we're gonna get a little crazy with stuff, we're gonna incorporate different genres, different time signatures. We're gonna keep you dancing, we're gonna keep you moving, and we're gonna have a lot of fun doing it.
You'll be Johnny and I'll be June. You'll be Johnny and I'll be June. You'll be Johnny and I'll be June.
What's next for the Velvet Hues? All right, so you've heard. Start again.
It's okay.
Cut that out. Okay, so.